Hello, welcome to the morning edition of MBC News, and you are with me, Evelis Jingambe. Coming up this morning, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika is in South Africa on a private visit. Malawians advised not to travel to the Middle East. And in sports, government pledges continued support towards the development of sports in the country. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in detail. His Excellency the President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, is in South Africa on a private visit. The President left through Kamuzu International Airport in Lilongwe, and Charles O'Hara has a report.
Before the departure for South Africa, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika inspected the Guard of Honor at Kamuzu Palace Parade Ground. At exactly 13:50, the presidential convoy carrying President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the First Lady, Madame Gertrude Mutharika, arrived at Kamuzu International Airport. Professor Mutharika was seen off at Kamuzu International Airport by the Chief Secretary to the government, Justin Saidi, senior government officials, as well as senior officials from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, DPP. At exactly 1400 hours, the plane carrying Malawi's first citizen taxied on the Kia runway and took off for South Africa. Charles Wahara, MBC News, Lilongwe.
His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, in exercise of the powers conferred upon him under Section 89, subsection 1D of the Constitution of the Republic of Malawi, has appointed Dr. Jean Galilani as Presidential Advisor on Population Management. The President has also appointed Christopher Nzomerangwira as Presidential Advisor on Parliamentary Affairs. According to a press release signed by the Chief Secretary, Justin Saidi, the appointments are with immediate effect. Vice President Dr. Jane Ansah has described culture as a strong glue that unites people from different communities and nations. Dr. Ansah made remarks at Ndenguleni in Chipata, Zambia, when she presided over this year's Nkwala ceremony, a traditional Ngoni cultural event aimed at promoting social activism and the Ngoni heritage in the region. During Sonani reports.
Nkwala is an annual Ngoni traditional ceremony where Ngonis from the eastern province of Zambia, joined by the rest of their counterparts in Zambia as well as from the southern African region, come together to pay homage to their ancestral spirits and Paramount Chief Mpezeni for the gift of the first fresh season's harvests. First Vice President Dr. Jane Ansah SC graced the occasion alongside the Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema and the host Paramount Chief Mpezeni of Zambia. In her speech, Dr. Ansah hailed the Zambian government for making available maize which Malawi government purchased to address hunger. She noted that people of Malawi and Zambia are united through such cultural events and they share common values, languages and dressing, among others.
The Malawi Ngonis, they are looking exactly the same with the Ngonis in Zambia, the Ngonis from Mozambique. We are all one. And such unity is very good. And I believe that with such interaction, we will continue, that we can even do great exploits when it comes to trading and others.
On his part, the Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema hailed the Ngwenyama Paramount Chief Mpezeni and the entire Ngoni people for preserving their culture and heritage. He said the ceremony also contributes to the promotion of tourism as well as strengthening regional cooperation.
I must indicate that this ceremony is spectacular in its own right. It's special in its own right. And we can only say it adds to our tourism, and our tourism numbers are increasing. Clearly, the Nkwala ceremony is contributing to the increase in the arrival of the tourists in our country. I like figures, as citizens now know that this president loves figures. When we took office in 2021, tourism arrivals were a mere 500,000. But last year, 2025, we reached a landmark figure of 2.5 million scholar is coming to this country.
Paramount Chiefs Mbero of Nzimba and Gomani of the Masekongoni in Cheo, together with their MPs, led their delegations to this auspicious event, where they also performed their traditional dances. More than 8 Ngoni chiefs from the region attended the ceremony, which is the first major traditional ceremony in the Zambian calendar, as it is held on the last Saturday of the month of February. Doreen Sonani, MBC News, Chipata, Zambia.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has advised all Malawian citizens to avoid traveling to or through the Middle East until further notice. This comes after escalating a security situation in parts of the Middle East arising from the ongoing hostilities between the United States of America, Israel and Iran, with broader regional implications affecting neighboring countries and international transit routes. A statement released by the ministry says volatile security involvement, including the risk of further military escalation, airspace restrictions, airport closures and disruptions to commercial flights, poses significant safety concerns for travelers transiting or residing in the region. The statement further urges Malawian nationals currently in the Middle East to exercise extreme caution and remain vigilant at all times and closely follow official guidance issued by host governments and local authorities, among other measures. The ministry has since assured the public that it is closely monitoring the situation in coordination with relevant international partners and diplomatic missions. The Ministry of Local Government has raised concern over the absence of reliable data on honey production and market flows, saying the gap is affecting growth of the sector. During a honey stakeholder engagement meeting, Director of Local Government Services in the ministry, Douglas Mkweta, said the honey industry has strong potential to increase Malawi's gross domestic product (GDP), but what remains is addressing such gaps through transparency and shared information. Trinity Kapantengo has the details.
Although the honey sector has grown significantly since the last comprehensive assessment in 2013, reports indicated that challenges of information asymmetry and poor market coordination remained. Director of Local Government Services in the Ministry of Local Government, Douglas Mkweta, said there was a need to shift towards greater accountability in order to advance honey production in Malawi, as honey's overall contribution to the country's GDP through diversified agriculture and exports could be enhanced.
The business has potential to enrich Malawians who are doing the business itself, but also to contribute positively to the GDP of this country. This is an area that has been lagging behind, but through the program, the trade program, a number of stakeholders who are potential in this business have been put together, have been trained, have been organized, and a number of issues have been identified. The potential as well as the challenges, and then how the way forward can be charted.
In her remarks, Trade National Program Coordinator Barbara Ntapara said the program was committed to facilitating the honey value chain in order to achieve one of the Malawi 2063 pillars, agricultural commercialization, by enhancing honey production levels in Malawi.
Honey production is one of the value chains out of the 7 value chains that trade program is working with. So by facilitating honey value chain, we are linking our farmers with the market, who are the off-takers, to make sure that the farmers they have enhanced production, and from their production they have off-takers who are buying the honey from the farmers to ensure that the farmers are benefiting from their production.
The honey stakeholder meeting brought together key actors in Malawi's honey value chain to reflect on the sector's performance, strengthen partnerships, and address persistent structural challenges within the industry. Trinity Kapantengo, MBC News, Lilongwe.
You're watching MBC News and you are with me, Evelis Chingambe. A reminder of the top stories. President Professor Peter Mutharika is in South Africa on a private visit. Malawians advised not to travel to the Middle East. And government pledges continued support towards the development of sports in the country. Welcome back. The Forestry Department has urged individuals, organizations and companies who plant trees in Michiro Mountain to also allocate some funds that will be used to take care of the trees. Blantyre District Forestry Officer Justina Jawa made the remarks when Blantyre Child Care Institutions Network conducted a tree planting exercise on Michiro Mountain.
As Michiro Forest, we are urging the well-wishers to participate in tree planting, but not only tree planting, but also tree management, so that we should care the trees and we should protect our trees from fires. We have a shortage of staff when we have the occurrences of fires, and the tree management is also a challenge because of understaffed.
Speaking after planting the trees, one of the children, NLC Julius, and chairperson for the Blantyre Child Care Institutions Network, Rosemary Nankaba, say they conducted the exercise to restore trees, which are an important part of nature.
Basically, the motive is us realizing that we are duty bearers and that we've got a great responsibility to conserve and protect our environment, and most importantly, we are duty bearers that you are responsible to train and educate our children so that they should understand at an early age the very importance of conserving their environment as they grow. Building on the national agenda to conserve and protect the environment, we should really consider uplifting and empowering these children and youth.
The Department of Forestry made an appeal that after planting here, they also expect you to come back to look after these trees. What are you going to do from here?
Really, it is very easy to plant these trees, but it takes a lot of resources and energy to conserve and protect these trees. Just like the way we do with these children, we nurture them. It is really a clear appeal, and I've really taken note of that we've got a responsibility to make sure that we protect these trees that we've planted so they could grow. So it is our responsibility. We consider that as a child care institution network to come now and then annually to protect these trees so that they could grow.
God's Grace Academy in Blantyre has stepped up its career guidance program by engaging professionals from various fields and students from public universities to mentor its learners. Speaking to Embassy, the school's principal, Ms. Tambale, said the school has intensified the program this year by conducting it for 1 week due to the need for various professionals to help in shaping the students' future.
Yeah, as we are training our students to become leaders of tomorrow, we need to inspire them now that they have to know what career or what profession do they want to do in life. Such opportunities sometimes come too late, but when they know at a young age what they would want to do, it helps them to focus on what career path or what profession they want to pursue in life. So we really wanted to help them that as young as they are, they should be decided and know that this is what I want to do. We have invited students and also staff from MAST, from University of Malawi and also MUBAS. We know it's very important when students speak to fellow students, they will be encouraged. They will also know that it is possible to achieve what their friends have achieved. And it will inspire them to have that purpose, that sense of purpose to work hard and achieve good grades so that they are able to pursue the career that they want in life.
University students and learners at the school concurred by saying the career talks expose the junior students to career options early so that they can begin to think seriously about their future.
We just want to tell them what is MUST and what MUST offers, and also to guide them to align what they already wanted with what MUST offers.
It's been a very eye-opening experience because we have had so many professional people come to talk to us about possible careers that we can pursue in future, and it has also gotten us to learn much more about what is really out there in the world. So I'm keeping an open mind. I'm thinking that I can study architecture. That's the main thing I'm looking into. But I'm also feeling like leaning towards medicine or maybe even possibly starting a business. So yeah, I'm keeping an open mind.
They're giving us exposure to professionals. They're telling us how they do it, how they did it, and what the challenges are. So this is really helping me know what to expect and how to deal with it. I'd like to become a commercialist, possibly outside the country, but if not, I would also prefer doing it inside the country.
With the career talks, I am able to know what to expect in the future. And for those who don't have careers, they're able to also choose a career from what they have learned so far. Okay. I'd like to be a cardiothoracic surgeon, which is a doctor who operates on the heart.
As Parliament is meeting in Lilongwe for the national budget and other critical bills, Centre for Human Rights Education Advice and Assistance CREA says it has intensified its lobbying efforts to persuade members of Parliament to abolish the death penalty. Speaking to NBC, CREA Executive Director Victor Mhango described the death penalty as a form of psychological torture that inflicts ongoing suffering on inmates and their families. Mhango confirmed that CREA has already engaged the Ministry of Justice to advocate for the abolition of the capital punishment. Victor Mhango speaks to our reporter George Panda.
As CREA, death penalty is on our agenda. We have started engaging the government already. We met the minister responsible for justice. We are planning to meet the members of parliament. We know that we have new members. Most of them are new members. So we want to meet them and brief them. Previously, we have talked with some members who, some of them are still under this cohort, but we will make sure that I think we reach out to more members, more especially the legal affairs of Parliament, to discuss the possibility of abolishing the death penalty. We have already seen that there is a good will from the government, because despite having this law in our laws, it has taken the government so many years without applying the death penalty to our prisoners. So we are happy, and we know for sure that one day we are going to remove the death penalty in our laws.
Apart from lobbying the parliamentarians, what other initiatives have you put in place to achieve the same?
Yeah, we know that this issue involves a number of people. We want also to talk to our traditional leaders, because we know that they are key to this, because they are the ones who live with people in the community. We also want to talk to our religious leaders to make sure that they should also preach the same message. So we are also going to be engaging with our academians just to ignite debate, to make sure that they should also understand why it is important for Malawi to abolish the death penalty.
National Bank of Malawi has launched the More Excellence program aimed at promoting academic excellence and leadership among university students in the country. Speaking during the launch in Lilongwe, Chief Executive Officer for the bank, Harold Gia, described education as a tool for breaking the cycle of poverty and building the nation by investing in Malawi's future researchers and policymakers. More in this report by Lonjezo Nsodoga.
The program, currently being implemented in 7 universities, is part of the bank's broader commitment to supporting education. The initiative is expected to award 59 scholarships annually, while 44 top-performing students who each receive 1 million kwacha. During the launch at Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Luana, National Bank Marketing and Corporate Affairs Manager Akosa Hiwa said the program would provide tuition, accommodation, laptops, stationery, medical support, and mentorship.
From the 3 institutions which we initially worked with for scholarships, we're now encompassing 7 institutions, and these are nationwide, and the public universities are a part of these 7 institutions. In addition to this, we are providing hardware or equipment, so every student who is on the scholarship program is going to get a laptop from the bank to enable them to work and to submit their assignments and to do their research.
Luana Vice-Chancellor Professor Emmanuel Kaunda described the initiative as a game changer, noting that many public university students faced challenges that affected their academic performance.
What Malawi needs is a culture where we can appreciate someone who's doing well, where we can appreciate excellence, where we can appreciate if someone has good capabilities, so that we prompt them. That's what's going to drive this nation. I think this is a big thing that National Bank has done. So as Luana, we're very pleased. And I think it has gone on to the whole society community here at Luana. But not only Luana, but all universities.
A third-year student studying Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Food Science, Desire Kambewa, was one of the students who had been awarded for outstanding academic performance. He said the award would act as an encouragement to continue working hard in his studies.
We put in much effort, we are alone in the night, we struggle, we are like, no one is seeing us, you see. So then suddenly the National Bank come and recognize you for your effort, so it's a pleasure to me.
At Luana, 6 students received scholarships, while 8 top-performing students were each awarded 1 million kwacha. Lonjeson Sodoka, NBC News, Lilongwe.
And now in sports, government has pledged continued support and promotion of sports development in the country. Minister of Sports and Youth Alfred Kangata made the remarks in Salima during the 2025 Malawi Sports Awards ceremony. Emmanuel Chukonso reports.
It was a glamorous evening dedicated to celebrating outstanding sports personalities, associations and sports media practitioners who excelled in 2025. A total of 15 winners were recognized across various categories for their exceptional contributions and achievements in Malawi's sporting landscape in the year 2025. The Minister of Sports, Alfred Kangata, commended the Malawi National Council of Sports for successfully organizing the awards and reiterated government's dedication to strengthening sports structures and creating more opportunities for athletes.
Indeed, it was a colorful event and very encouraging. And we thank the Malawi, the National Council of Sports here.
The Malawi Paralympic Committee scooped the Best Sports Development Program of the Year award. The committee's representative, Samuel Ngoma, said the recognition serves as motivation to continue empowering athletes with disabilities.
This award should be an inspiration, because this is not simply coming to me as an individual, but to a whole community of people, both able-bodied as well as disabled, that if we only give people a chance, they can achieve and they can excel in life.
The chairperson for Sports Council, Jim Kalua, praised the support from stakeholders and called for more collaboration in 2026.
More especially, I also need to thank that is the organizing committee headed by Dr. Matola. They have done a wonderful job. So I know that is next year we'll build from this. Otherwise, I'm very thankful, and we really need more sponsors, and it should not end right here.
In the individual accolades, Temwa Chawinga was crowned Sportswoman of the Year and also emerged as the overall Best Athlete of the Year, while Mary Wire was honored with the prestigious Hall of Fame Award in recognition of her lasting impact on Malawi sport. Emmanuel Chikonso, NBC News, Salima.
That item also concludes this edition of NBC News. A recap of our top stories before we leave. President Professor Peter Mutharika is in South Africa on a private visit. Malawians advised not to travel to the Middle East. And government pledges continued support towards the development of sports in the country. For more updates, visit Embassy Digital on Facebook, X and Instagram. You've been with me, Evelis Jungambe. Thank you for watching and good morning.
Bring the nation.